Hey, you. Let me get myself situated here. Camera is too close. You're barely able to see Mary. I'm wearing Mary today. Look at this. Cool shirt. I can't remember where I got it. But once I remember where I got it, I will let you know in a future video. Thinking glasses on. Remember that movie analysis where I put on my Catholic lens and revisited the movie Groundhog Day? Have you seen the movie all the way through recently? If so, what did you think? Religious similarities aside, what did you really think? A solid comedy movie that holds up in 2025? It's not really a chick flick if it stars Bill Murray at his full Bill Murray. It's certainly a love story, but is it a love story between a man and a woman all the way through? This is ponderous, man. Really ponderous. Do you like that it's a story about redemption? Redemption stories are my favorite stories. It's a Wonderful Life, Shawshank Redemption, Scrooged, Groundhog Day, even if it's not the main theme. If there's a character with a really good, that's the key, a really good redemption arc. Am I bumping my desk? Really good redemption arc, then I'm sold. It has to be well done, and I think Groundhog Day nails the story of a man going through a complete rebirth. The story covers Phil when he was a despicable douche at the beginning of the story. Then he encounters a life-changing challenge. He goes through some labor pains as he struggles to resist the change at first. Then he gains some insight, and he decides to work the challenge to his advantage, embraces it, and becomes a really good and humble dude at the end. I love that story. You know why stories like that touch me so deeply? Because I was that guy in the beginning of that movie. I'm still working toward becoming that guy at the end of the movie. By the way, my lovely viewers, could you possibly do me a favor and share this video with any single man out there that you may know? Because I have a question for them. This is the question. Single men, what's stopping you from becoming Phil at the end of Groundhog Day? Is it fear? Fear of being taken advantage of? Fear of abandoning your old ways in favor of becoming a stronger and more valued person that others may look up to? Is it fear of entering the manliness of leadership? It certainly isn't for the weak at heart. Is it fear of the labor pains? The labor pains are temporary. Let me tell you something. If you're really afraid of discomfort or, the gym, look at it this way. We all go through winter, right? Winter is really cold, depending on where you live. If winter isn't very cold where you live, then summer probably gets a little hotter than most locations for you. So be it summer or winter, unbearably cold, or sweltering hot, you suffer and you go through a bit of labor pain, some discomfort. It's inescapable in life. So why not just get used to it? Why run from it? It's a part of life. So why not just seek it out? You step out into that really cold winter or that really hot summer, suffer it a little, and then when you get back inside with the central heating or air conditioning, it feels that much better. A cold glass of lemonade tastes that much better when drinking it after being in the hot sun. A warm cup of hot cocoa, coffee for me, all black, is so much more refreshing when it's a cold day, a freezing cold day. These are your rewards. I'm going somewhere with this. Trust me. Let me take a sip first. It's my thinking coffee. That's Abbey Roast I'm drinking, by the way. I got it from my mom. Thank you, Mom. Now, those are pretty small things that I mentioned. So seek out the small things before attempting the greater challenges so that your body, mind, and soul are used to it. It's all unified and accustomed after near death by 1,000 needle pokes. Let yourself be uncomfortable. In my experience, a lot of women need to hear this too. But mostly men watch my channel because men already have a deep call for being intellectually challenged, or they just have a stronger yearning for rationality. I know that by the end of Groundhog Day, Phil was only capable of saving those people because he had seen that day so many times that he could pinpoint exactly where to be and when to be there. Once he's able to move on to the next day, he loses that superpower. But his heart for it remains. His heart to be that hero of the town remains. Where's your heart to be a hero? You could start in the little ways like I suggested. Start with your driving habits, for instance. That's very relevant today. I live in Milwaukee. I see crazy people out on the road all the time. I hear them communicating with each other with their horns all the time. Angrily. I can tell it's out of anger. Don't rush to be at every single destination unless it is an actual emergency. My guess is 0.001% of these people that are out there racing are in an actual emergency. You know your schedule in advance, so why not adjust yourself accordingly? Why are you racing other people anyway? They have a different destination than you do, and there's no finish line. Unless you're weird and you drew a finish line in your driveway, you freak. I'm teasing. Challenge yourself by waking up at 5 in the morning instead of 6, or you know what I mean, just wake up an hour earlier. And then after a couple of months, wake up at 4 in the morning, or, an hour earlier than that. Say to Jesus, let's be real here, Jesus. I'm going to screw up today. So why don't I just surrender it over to you? Or surrender it to Mary, and she'll surrender it to Jesus for you. That's what she's there for. She is the handmaid of the Lord. Luke 1:38. Catholics use Mary because things get done faster that way. Isn't that right, married women? Back to men. Get to know your work colleagues better. Get to know them as people, not as obstacles that are in your way, because they're not. Be charitable by giving them the intangible gift of friendliness. Don't worry about workplace drama. We'll touch on that in a future video. If you're worried that they may rope you into some kind of drama, then just politely remind them that you don't come here for that. Then politely change the subject so it's not awkward. Be civilized. Get to know your neighbors better. I know I'm trying to get better at that myself. It might be hard to get motivated to do that especially if you have sketchy neighbors, but that's okay. Just know when and how to withdraw from situations that won't benefit either of you. I grew up knowing my neighbors, but I'll admit it certainly does help to have neighbors that you easily feel comfortable getting to know. Man, I really need my thinking coffee right now. House on the Rock, by the way. Highly recommend it. It's a great place. Check it out. Don't avoid having kids all through your life and then avoid people to the point where you're a miserable loner. What would happen to you if you had an emergency? Or what if you need help with something? I gotta pause for sirens now. Drop old habits that keep your nose in front of a screen. Start taking up habits that involve a musical instrument. Books. Praying and creating works of art. Take up drawing, sculpting, blacksmithing. I don't know, and you can start small with all of those things. Go out for more walks. Let your mind get inspired by the scenery around you. You can go out for bike rides, it's fine, but I understand bike rides can be a good workout. But if you really want to just kind of get on a good train of thought, you want to get some good meditation on, walks are better for that than bicycle. And you can just go out for like a 10, 15, 20-minute walk. You can also volunteer. You might not have a soup kitchen volunteer service around you, but why not volunteer by visiting the elderly at least once a week? Make it a new Sunday thing. And if you have a family, you can take your family. But for the single men that this video is really intended for, just do it. Just find a buddy and go visit some elderly. After Mass, early afternoon, go visit an elderly home. You could also draw some cool superhero sketches for sick kids in children's hospitals. This way, you won't have to worry about pursuing a valuable woman. A valuable woman will pursue you. Just like Rita when she reached her hand out for Phil. Then you'll know you achieved the right woman. This video is starting to get a little long considering this is Lent, so I'm going to start wrapping it up. If you're wondering what I'm doing, or if I'm even attempting any of those things, I'm going to tell you this. I am. And not only am I pursuing these things, but I am going to be doing these things right alongside you. So every once in a while, I'll release a video where I discuss a little update with where I'm at with these things. But always keep in mind, you have to do these out of humility and not boast about doing these things. So when I do a little update video, I have to remind myself to not be boastful about it. Fact of the matter is, I'm not just making this video for you. I'm really making this video for myself so that I pursue these things more aggressively, with more zeal. I'm motivating myself too. So, men, why don't we pursue these things together? We'll make it like a community, like an online community thing about this. You're not alone in this. You're not alone in this. I'm right here with you. Ciao for now. God bless. And Ave Maria.